And just the first couple of months on the job for you, what has it been like being in charge of everything instead of a part of a front office, being the guy?
This is what you work for, and it all comes at once, which doesn't make it easy, but this is what you prepare your whole career for, and the opportunity to impact an organization from top to bottom, preparing for the draft, preparing for free agency, hiring a head coach, hiring a staff on both sides. It's been very fulfilling. We really enjoyed it.
Gersson, take us inside the process when you got hired. You had an interim head coach in Ryan Saunders, who you have a relationship with, but at the same time, it seemed like you didn't want to assume that he was just going to be the head coach. It seemed like you had a little bit of a process and ultimately ended on Ryan. So take us inside that process a little bit, how it went, and what ultimately made you decide to hire Ryan as a permanent head coach.
So to be fair, going into the process, Ryan was a big positive about the organization. A young coach with very creative mind, a lot of equal values there. But to be fair to the organization and to be fair to him, we had to go through a full process, and that was important for him. It was important for us, and we wanted to make sure we had the best person that could run the coaching side of our program. And it was good. I think it was good for him. It was a challenge for him. It was a challenge for us. We talked to a lot of talented individuals, but at the end of the day, the process confirmed that Ryan was going to be our leader on the coaching side.
What did you learn about him during that process?
It's being an interim coach, number one, is always a challenge. So that experience helped him, but you learn what he was all about. And this is a marriage, the front office and the coaching side, and you really have to make sure that your values are aligned, how you see the game, how you can build a roster together, things like player development, player wellness. If you're not working that together as a marriage, it's dangerous because you don't want to have two individuals pulling in different directions. And I learned what was important to him, and what's important to him is important to me, and we're going to be able to do great work because we're both pushing in the same direction.
It is a marriage, and sickness and health and blowout wins and blowout losses. You got to stick together because it's a roller coaster. I've been there. Gersson, I want to go back to draft night. Take us inside your thought process. You're sitting there coming into draft night with the 11th pick and Dario Saric on your roster. You decided to make the deal with Phoenix to move up to number 6. Was that deal made with Jarrett Culver in mind, or what decided to make you pull the trigger to bring in Jarrett Culver?
So the focus of our move there was we have to add top-end talent to our program. And the reality is we had identified 5 players that we felt like were strong in this draft, at the front of the draft. And we looked at every opportunity to move up. There were some openings at 4, some openings at 5, 6, and 7. And we were fortunate that at the end of the day, the best opportunity for us to move up was to get up to 6. We gambled a bit. Jarrett was one of our 5 guys, and we were fortunate he was there. But we're extremely excited. An individual like Jarrett with unbelievable winning qualities, high character, two-way guy who's a playmaker, scorer, but a very effective defender. So for us, adding a piece of talent at that level was worth, a really good player in Saric.
How much of an impact can he make right away?
To be fair, we look at the draft as a long-term decision. You want these young guys to surprise us and to be playing early in their careers, but the reality is we're going to invest in him. Hopefully, at some point this year, he's ready to help us, but I'm interested in his, the next 4 years, not just this season, so we'll see how that plays out.
Gersson, take us inside your philosophy drafting in terms of position versus best available player. If I look at the Timberwolves roster, you inherited some wing talent and depth with guys like Andrew Wiggins and Robert Covington, but you took Jarrett Culver, who I think most people thought was a top 5 player in this draft. So take us inside your thought process. I think a lot of people assumed when you were moving up to 6, it was going to be for a point guard, maybe Kobe White from North Carolina, but take us inside the decision-making process and how you see the fit now with Wiggins, Culver, and Covington on your roster.
So our style of play is going to change. We want an open floor, dynamic style, up-tempo game. And for us, a lot of that means playing more perimeters on the floor. So our depth at the 4 is a little light, but our ability to play wings, 2, 3, 4 consistently, we've got a high level of talent there. And we really felt like Jarrett could add a playmaking dynamic to that, an attacking dynamic to that, and a defender who could switch to multiple positions. And between Covington, Wiggins, and Nkoji, who's out here. We feel like we've got a strong core of 4 wings that can play in a lot of different ways, space the floor, play faster. So for us, it was a strategic approach to how we're going to play next season.
Yeah, and Karl-Anthony Towns, so up until this season, had played 82 games in the first 3 years of his career. Then he played 77. He had that unfortunate accident. Andrew Wiggins, the same. First 4 years of his career, he plays all but 1 game, and then he missed several this season. We see Kawhi Leonard sit 22 games, have so much success in the postseason. How does that affect your philosophy in the way that you use yours players and maybe the use of load management?
So player wellness is incredibly important for every player in the league, every team in the NBA. Every guy is different. So the opportunity to know where they're at, how we're playing, and how that's executed over a full NBA regular season is important in terms of how you do practice, how you do shoot-arounds, travel, sleep, recovery. All those things are important. We are very confident in our player wellness program, in our sports medicine side, player development side, and strength and conditioning, where we've got guys that early in their careers, and we want to make sure that they have a long runway in their career, and that's important to them to get them healthy and get them to their best physically right now so they can be consistently on the floor as much as possible.
Will we continue to see those guys rack up 80, 81, 82 games?
I think the reality is not the load is not as much the games as it is the minutes, and our ability to be smart in how we play guys in rotations. What do we do in between? What are the practices like? What is the travel like? What's the overall season like? I think that's the biggest impact in terms of just games specifically that we're counting.
Gersson, with the team you inherited in Minnesota, you didn't have a lot of financial flexibility. The team was over the cap, if I'm correct, close to the luxury tax at one point. I think you've done a really good job filling out your roster, filling out your bench with low-cost value signings, guys like Jake Layman, Noah Vonleh, and Jordan Bell in the front court. Take us inside your approach to this summer and what you think Layman, Vonleh, and Bell will bring to the Timberwolves.
Officially, we can't comment on any free agent business yet.
Oh, it's not done? Okay.
But I will tell you that we've been very constructive to take bets on guys that we feel are, number one, system fits, and number two, our age fits to our core, and guys that we feel that we can grow with. So we've addressed some needs on the roster. We've added some depth. But it's all along the way of how we're going to play. So we were able to get an exception from the Culver trade that we're going to utilize here in free agency. The ability to pick up guys who can play multiple positions and play the way we want to play is very important to us. So, we were value shoppers in free agency, but we felt like we got some young upcoming bets that hopefully will be executed sooner rather than later.
How can you put together a winner in a market like Minnesota when you see Kawhi Leonard, L.A., when you see Paul George, L.A., Anthony Davis, L.A., Jimmy Butler, Miami, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, New York?
It's one of the greatest things of this job that you have a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns, and I'm a firm believer he's a top 10 player in the league, and his best days are ahead of him. The way we're going to play, we're going to be one of the most dynamic teams because we have a center who can play inside and out, who's very creative, who can score, who can play make, and is very impactful. So for us, we're going to maximize every opportunity. We're going to draft well, develop well, trade well, in free agency, look for opportunities where we can move forward. But we've got a guy in Cat that we can build around, and it's my job to make sure that I maximize every resource that makes sure he's successful.
Do you feel pressure to make sure that you are successful to keep him happy?
There's pressure in taking this job. That's what it's all about. You're doing this to win. So our focus every day is to get better and to build the program in a way where we can have a sustainable model of success.
You think if anybody in the media business would know that he can't comment until deals are official, it would be me.
Meanwhile, I asked all perfect questions.
Yeah.
The NBA guy.
A $25,000 fine.
He's just ticked off because he's obviously been on the receiving end. He's trying to get even.
I must owe him some dinners here.
No, I thought that we were good since the moratorium is over. But final question I have for you, Gersh, is now that most of your roster is set for next year, is there anything you guys are still looking to do? Obviously, you're trying to upgrade your team, but are there any holes you have to fill or any positions you feel like you still need to address?
Yeah, for us, the focus continues. The roster will be set here as we go into October, but we're consistently looking at options to improve our overall talent. I think there's a couple of positions where we're lighter in terms of depth with the 1 and the 4 that we're looking at all our options there. But it's not over. It's not done. We've got more work to do, and part of that is what we have in building that out, and the other part is seeing what the market has to offer and what opportunities might present themselves.
What is the potential of Andrew Wiggins, and how far is he from reaching it?
Well, I'll tell you this. If I wanted to find another player in the market with his talent, physical tools, and upside, that's a very small pool. So we're going to invest a ton in him, and we feel like he's a great fit for our system. To be fair to him, he's coming on, over his short career, he's had 3 or 4 coaches, 3 or 4 different types of system. We want to bring some stability to him. We want to be able to have an environment and a program that's going to allow him to be the best that he can be, but he's still super young, he's still super talented, and still has a lot of ability that we want to maximize.
Yeah, and last one for me, you've now got a chance to work with him. From what you've heard, from what you've seen, what can you tell us about his work ethic?
He's worked extremely hard this summer, great attitude. He's excited about how we're going to play and how we're going to do things, and he's here today. I mean, it shows you his commitment level. He's been with us in Minnesota. He's been here in Vegas working out with our guys. Action speaks louder than words. And at the end of the day, we'll see what he has to offer next season.
Well, if he's here, send him over. So we'll talk to him next. Gersson, really appreciate it. Congratulations on a nice start here.